Every night before I go to bed, I know that I can rest well because I trust that the enemies of Christ will not flourish. And every morning when I wake up, I'm reminded that the enemies of Christ run the world and we're always in a constant battle of spiritual warfare with monitoring spirits and shadow demons and all of these people and all of these different kinds of people that are actually possessed by demons. It's getting easier and easier for me to see the demons in other people. And I think a large part of that just has to do with my own spiritual progress over the past year and a half or so. Specifically, that is. And it's more about discerning spirits. And then on the flip side of that, since I started following Christ about 2 years ago now, there's been a realization that's been just compounding upon itself that I want to share with you all. And it's that there is a curse. It is a blessing and a curse of enlightenment or everlasting life, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not going to sit here claiming enlightenment because I think that would be silly, but I've seen enough to know that, like Job, my eyelids have seen shadows of sorrow. And so, in this time, especially around the holiday season here, it becomes ever so clear to me what people are actually worshiping and what people are actually trying to accomplish or trying to reap certain benefits. And this is a time when so many different kinds of people seem to be in uplifting spirits. They're more positive, they're more giving, all of these things. And that's good. But I've also noticed that a lot of it is not always for the sake of goodness. It's for vanity. And so you can see the demons in other people as they pop up. They want to give so that they can be recognized for the giving. And that's not really true giving. That's not true charity to some degree, you might say. And again, as the more I grow, the more I see, the more I'm also realizing that purification can also be a curse and a blessing, because the more you purify your spirit and the more you ask God to be pure and to have the blood of Jesus being poured down upon you, it's almost as if you can see straight through people's intentions. And you can see straight through what people are trying to do, and the gaslighting and the manipulation, and it's not always because this person is trying to make you feel a certain way. It's more like they're insecure. And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to demean them for being insecure. I'm just saying that this is the fact. They're insecure, so they're trying to make you into an insecure person, because you walk around when you are really following Christ, when you are fleeing from temptation, when you are repenting, when you are actually showing that there's fruits to your labor, and you have the confidence to back it up, because there's so many people that are so prideful out here. And what do they have to show for it? What do you do to make, to walk with such a strut? I just don't, and some of these women out here, they act like they have the perfect, they have just the perfect person in themselves. They are just, they're just trying to be the chest out, and they're trying to be overly loud and obnoxious, and it's just what are you doing? Now, of course, Then you have the nice, soft, feminine women that are quiet, that are in the corner reading a book, that are dressed modestly. And we like those kinds of women over here. We appreciate those kinds of women. And then you see the men too, the men that are just trying to be super loud, and they're the loudest one in the room. And you see some of these people show up at the gym 5 days a week, but because I go to the gym every day now, like I don't, at least the days that it's open, I don't skip days going to the gym anymore, even if it's just to go on the treadmill for 40 minutes, or even to go onto the stair stepper for 40 minutes and doing some push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups. Like that's my off day when I go to the gym now. My off day, quote unquote, is doing the stair stepper for 40 minutes or the treadmill for 40 minutes and doing push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups. But you see some of these people out here that go to the gym 5+ days a week that I see them there, and yet they're making no progress as far as like physically, like, and you got to think to yourself, okay, you're here, that's great, like you showed up, that's fantastic, but something's not aligning, right? Because if you're not getting results, then something is not being purified in some way, shape, or form, right? So, well, how do you purify the body? Well, you start eating the right foods. You start being able to tell yourself, no, I'm not going to eat that ice cream tonight. I'm not going to eat that In-N-Out burger tonight. Not sure if you guys know. I have many viewers that are viewing all around the world, so many people may not know what In-N-Out burger is, but it's a cheeseburger joint, you could say. And a cheeseburger joint is just a place, it's a restaurant for cheeseburgers. Very famous one here in America, on the West Coast, that is. And so, you know, that's something that you're going to have to be able to stop doing, is to tell yourself no. And these people that don't get the results, and it's like, well, that's someone I know I'm not going to want to be around. Why? Because they're showing that they can be consistent, sure, but they're not following through with the consistency. So it's almost like you're telling God, like if you have, let's say you're repenting from a sin, and this sin is gluttony, and you're wanting to go to God, and you go to God and you say, look, God, I know that this is my sin. I know that this is something I'm struggling with. I need guidance. I need discernment. I need the strength of the Creator, you, God, to get me through and make sure that I'm holding myself accountable to the degree in which I'm not going to eat that cake or that brownie or that cheeseburger. I'm not going to drink the alcohol. I'm not going to smoke the weed. Because that's also a form of gluttony in some way, shape, or form as well, right? So any kind of consumption is a form of gluttony, overconsumption. Whether that's like with content or anything like that as well, that's not healthy for you. So you go to God and you say this, and you want to show God that you're actually trying to make certain decisions. So you decide to cut down a little bit, or maybe you just rip off the Band-Aid altogether and you just go, you just start eating fruits and vegetables. You got your chicken and rice. You got your steak. You've got eggs. You've got whatever you need to do to make a healthy lifestyle for you. Because for me personally, carbs do not go well for me. Like any kind of extra bread or rice or anything like that doesn't do well. Doesn't do well for me. It's like I can look at some bread and I gain a pound, and then I look at some like cheesecake or something and I gain 3 pounds. It's like fats and carbs just with me don't really mix well. So I have a lot of meat in my diet, and I have a lot of vegetables in my diet. So I eat a lot of broccoli, and I eat a lot of spinach, And lately I've been making these spinach and fruit smoothies. And you'd never know that spinach was in it. And I used to make these a lot when I was in high school playing tennis. And I kind of forgot, like, that's just an extra way to make sure that you're getting some extra veggies, and you really don't taste the spinach if you just get some frozen veggies or some frozen fruit and mix it with a bunch of spinach. You're not going to taste the spinach, but you're going to get all of the benefits. And I really like that. I like that a lot. But anyway, so you have to show God that you're willing to make certain sacrifices and you're willing to make certain choices to purify your body in that kind of way, right? So, and the body is going to reflect your lifestyle choices 100%. 100%. Like, that's one of the cool things about this human body and this mechanism and organism that we have. It doesn't lie. Like, it doesn't lie to you. It's smarter than you to some degree as well. The body has a wisdom of its own. So there's something that is to be revered when it comes to the body. And I advise that you highly listen to it and highly anticipate what's going on. And the enemies of Christ don't want you to be healthy. They just don't. Why do you think there's so many fast food places and there's why do you think that we have all of this DoorDash stuff or Amazon that can just deliver stuff to your door? Like, they don't want you to leave your home. They don't want you to be able to go places or grow your own stuff because they want you to be reliant on the government and all of the companies that have a lot of control and influence over the market. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with capitalism, like, as a system of societal operation. I think it's more like, of course, it has its issues, but it's better than communism. It's better than socialism, and that's just a fact. And I didn't want to accept that fact for a long time. In fact, when I was in my early stages of college, I was, quote unquote, a socialist. And I'm a bit embarrassed to even, like, reconcile and consider that possibility again and just think about that. And it really is the case that there's so much more that life has to offer with capitalism than socialism or communism or most other forms of societal operation when it comes to monetary exchange. But make no mistake that there are certain capitalists that venture and try to destroy the system itself by maintaining a monopoly over it. And I'm not making any specific claims in this video. I want to make that clear. I want you all to think for yourself, because God knows that sometimes you can say certain things here on the web and it can get misconstrued by the wrong people. So I don't want anything to be misconstrued, but y'all know what I'm talking about here. So we'll just leave that as it is. But make no mistake that it's time that we really start making a good hard look at ourselves and the purification process spiritually, and accept that there's going to be a lot that we have to purify. And you're never going to get fully rid of the demons. Like, that's most of what's left on this earth, guys. I don't want to, like, I don't like saying that. I don't like saying this kind of stuff. But I'm a truth seeker, and I'm a truth teller. I'm not here to bully anybody or to just try to cause some kind of havoc internally in your life, but I'm also not here to lie to you. And I'm not going to be here to tell you that and sell you a dream that everything's just fine and dandy and hunky-dory when it's just not the case. So when I am in doubt, I trust Jesus and I praise Jesus, because at this point in my life, there's not much else to do when that kind of stuff happens. And praising removes any kind of doubt as well, because the nature of doubt and the nature of fear is that it will come back. But it's up to us to have the internal confidence and trust that God is the rock, that we can move forward righteously and with dignity and integrity and loyalty to not only the respect of ourselves, but to the respect of those that are also righteous and that are individuals striving to live a prosperous life. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.